TJ Cochran, what's up, my man?
What's up, man?
Whew, hanging out. It's good to see you again.
You too, man. It's been a minute.
It has been a while. We were talking before we sat down about probably the last time me and you ran into each other. It's been a while, and we've always kind of been in that music, I guess you would say, bouncing around that like music scene.
Yep.
And sometimes you just never cross paths with those other people.
I know, it's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So what I guess you would say in this podcast, man, you have blew up lately on social media. Social media has been a huge platform for you.
It has. And I tell people all the time, the first song that I ever put out, which was Rome, Georgia, that song had a little bit of success, and then I toured the country and, had a band and all that good stuff. And it seems like, here recently, just with social media, it's been a lot easier to, I guess, suffice having a family at the same time and doing music at the same time. Being able to balance those two things out has been a whole lot easier that way.
Social media absolutely rocked the music industry.
It did.
It changed a lot. It changed a lot for independent artists too.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. I remember when Kane Brown busted on the scene. I lived down in Savannah, and he had kind of just burst on the scene, and he was from somewhere up in North Georgia. I can't think of the name.
Fort Oglethorpe.
There you go. It's that area up there. And then he started recording videos, and then next thing you know, man's on a bus traveling.
Oh yeah,
it's super cool. You'd get your arguments out of a lot of people from it because
he was like, Facebook is kind of what
it was Facebook. Yep,
pushed him.
It was Facebook. So that's like I was saying, that's what I want to dig off into, along with about 30 other things we can dig off into also.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about kind of how social media blew up for you with your music, and I guess you would say how that changed your life, because I know it did.
Oh yeah, big time. Well, like I said before, I released my first song back in 2018, and it was Rome, Georgia. And to be honest, I'd never played in front of a single soul before, and I always, played guitar at home. And then that night, I remember I was sitting at the kitchen table, and I wrote that song, and I played it, and my wife, you've got a wife. So whenever you're playing guitar and singing, most of the times, 9 times out of 10, she never even hears it, right?
Right.
So my wife was like, play that song again, and I was like, okay. She's like, you need to post that on Facebook. She's like, it's going to go viral. And I was like, what? Like, you're crazy, Anyways, I posted it, and then the next morning I had 700 shares or something like that on my personal Facebook page. And so, with that being said, I never played a show before. I'd never recorded a song before, so I didn't even know where to start. Okay, and all these people pouring in, wanting me to play here, play there, all these things, and then anyway, I guess ended up quitting my job a little thereafter.
No way.
Quitting my job, yep, and going music full time. So and
this was all off Facebook.
All off Facebook. Yep. Had booking agents, Peachtree Entertainment.
Yeah,
Sure you've heard of them before.
Yeah.
But I was missing one thing back then.
What's that?
Another song.
Oh yeah, yeah. When that there's a saying. What is it? Oh man, I'm gonna mess it up. You gotta strike it while the iron's hot, or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's 100% true.
Yeah,
it is 100% true. You got to keep people's attention, and the reason behind that is because there are thousands of other people doing the exact same thing that you're doing.
That's right.
And you know what it is? You're one swipe away, and that attention is going off of you. So you got to like
Oh yeah, you got to
shove it down people's throat.
And I'll tell you, a lot of cool things happen, during that whole shebang. Have you heard the song "Dirt Cheap" by Cody Johnson?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It's
One
a
of the
banger.
greatest songs of all time.
Oh yeah.
But me, when I hear "Dirt Cheap" by Cody Johnson, it takes me back and reminiscing a little bit. I don't know if you know who wrote that song.
God, I know the answer to this. Josh Phillips.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I actually got to open for Josh Phillips.
Did you? Okay.
In 2018 with Peachtree Entertainment, he played at the Brew House. And
Yeah.
anyways, my wife and his wife, they hit it off, and I think they still talk on Facebook sometimes. But you lived in Nashville for a while, so you take, I mean, even Dalton Dover, for example, right? When other people think of Dalton Dover, they're like, wow. When I think of Dalton Dover, I still remember the guy that, from Rockmart that was, so it's just so cool to me to think back and like, wow, I got to open for that guy. And that guy's probably one of the most prominent songwriters in Nashville right now.
He's one of them. And his, I want to say it's his cousin, Taylor Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, oh my God. He's wrote a lot of bangers too. But no, it's like you said, if you don't shove it down people's throat, man, it goes away, and it goes away fast.
It does. And it was a great time period in my life, and I wouldn't go back and change anything because I needed that time. Like I said, I never played a show before. All these booking agents reaching out, wanting me to play here, play there. I didn't even have a band put together. Okay. And it's easy to find a guitar player and a drummer. It's like, who plays bass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So funny story is a Dodge dealership that I worked at. I sold cars. And I remember there was a guy back there in detail that told me he used to play bass. And so I call him up. Hadn't talked to this guy in 2 years. Like, hey, man, don't you play bass? He was like, yeah, I played at church, I was like, you want to come travel with me for 6 months and play bass? And he was like,
how much money's in it?
No, he didn't even ask that. But he was just like, yeah, I will. I was like, sweet. So we traveled all the way down to Key West, all the way up to North Dakota, Pennsylvania.
No way.
Name it. We went everywhere, dude. And he actually tours with Dalton now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jared Harris.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know Jared.
I pulled Jared from the Detail Bay. You can tell him I said that if you're watching this. Yeah, he's on CMT, man.
Ain't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, it is mind-blowing sometimes how fast something can change. And I've got countless stories of this. Oh my God, especially when I lived in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
The people that I knew that most of it happened after I left. Maybe that was a sign I should have stayed. But most of it happened, after I left, and I'll look on social media and I'll see a guy or a girl that, I had knew, was friends with, things like that.
Oh yeah.
And they've blown up, man. We used to go, my friend Alec lived, he had an apartment downtown Nashville, and we would always jam at his apartment. Man, this apartment had a pool on the roof. It was really cool. This apartment was legit. About $2,000 a month for a little room about the size of this right here.
Wow.
But it was sweet though. Super nice place. But anyway, there was one night he was like, "Hey man, let's go across the hallway. I've got a friend over here. Let's go see if she wants to jam too," or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, cool." Well, we go over there, and super talented songwriter, super talented singer, man. Priscilla Block.
Mm.
Yeah. And then that's another one. I look back and I'm like, that's so cool.
It is.
So cool. Noah Hicks, man, we played a little show out in Alabama together, and the next thing I know, I think he done a song with Justin Moore.
Oh yeah.
one of my best friends, Matt McKinney, wrote Dick Down in Dallas.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of guys, or I don't know a lot of guys associated with that song, but my buddy Dawson Edwards.
Yeah, I know
all those
Dawson.
guys are real close
Yeah.
knit together.
I invited Dawson to come up here and holler at me one day
Oh,
to
okay.
come talk. Yeah, he's doing, what is he?
He's a songwriter for Cobalt, I believe.
He's doing something for Travis. Is it Travis Tritt?
Yeah, he's a. Hopefully he don't. Let's see.
Maybe he doesn't care.
Drum tech, I think. It's
Yeah.
probably like, no, dude, I make the drums, but I'm pretty sure it's drum tech though. I know he does something on the road with him.
Regardless, that is just.
He's got an awesome job.
That is.
He
sick
knows I
regardless.
envy him.
Yeah.
So
that is man. That's so cool. But you just look back and you see and I'm happy for him.
Oh yeah.
There's not a jealous bone in my body. I like to see people win.
Yeah, and I do too. And and that's another thing. Actually, Trey Lewis, the guy that sings Dick Down in Dallas, probably one of my favorite artists right now.
He's good.
Really good. And
good.
I'm not, discrediting Dick Down in Dallas because obviously the song is, insane, right? It blew up.
That's the Red Solo Cup of our generation.
Yes. But, there's so many underrated songs that he has that are just like, wow.
Yeah.
It was always you. I mean, that was an amazing song. But going back to that piece of what you said, in that whole process where I went through, going and touring and doing all these things, it wasn't actually a tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like to say that not in a bad way. It wasn't a tour. What it was is I'd never played in front of anybody, and that was my opportunity to get to play in front of sometimes 2 people at the bar, and sometimes a Friday or Saturday night packed with people.
Yeah.
And when I say that, you'd be gone for 2 weeks at a time in Key West.
Mm-hmm.
And guess how many days you played a show? 14 days. You played 14 shows.
Wow.
Yep. I started playing acoustic at 8 p.m. and played all the way till 10 p.m.
Oh, my gosh.
The band came up there with me from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Now, I love That Ain't My Truck, but, brother, I'm telling you, you can only sing it so many times without some alcohol mixed in.
Dude, my fingers could only last 4 hours to start with.
Oh, yeah.
Guitar, whew, man.
Yeah. But, those were some great times. But I've got kids, and I was gone for 6 months, and I was home for 14 days.
Mm.
And luckily, me and my wife had just sold a house, and we had some money in our pockets. And I told my wife, I said, hey, just let me do this. It's one thing I've always wanted to do. Never had the courage to do it, but it's just kind of like, just kind of fell in our lap, the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm all in. She's like, but the second that, we can't pay a bill, she's like, you got to go back to work.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. So,
well, when I started, I guess you would say actually going to play a show. My best friend down in Savannah, he always told me, he's like, you just got to go play a show. And I was like, dude, I just cannot remember 4 hours of music.
no,
How am I going to do this? And he kept telling me, he's like, you just got to go do it.
mm-hmm.
And I booked a gig, and it was a place in Calhoun. It was a place in Calhoun. I'm trying to think. It was Redbud Road, I think. It was called That Place.
Oh.
I booked a show there, and that was the first time I ever played in front of people. And I had, I don't know, dude, 2 hours maybe of material, and I think it was a 3-hour gig. So I, played a couple songs over, and it hit me, and I said, this isn't that hard. You just get up here and do what you do at home and just play.
Yep.
And people are going to like it. Some people may not like it, but
Right.
most people are. If you got some type of talent, most people are going to like it.
Right.
And from there, I'd started booking a little more. I think in Cartersville at the local,
Mm-hmm.
I think they wanted me to come do like an open mic night to make sure I didn't You know, I
Right.
wasn't horrendous. So I went down an open mic night one night, and then I booked a gig there, and the rest was history. But yeah, dude, it took a lot of courage just to get on a stage.
It did.
It was tough.
And I'll tell you the biggest thing that I learned, during that time period was I always wrote songs.
Mhm.
Always wrote songs up until Rome, Georgia. I wrote a song about everything. Anything that happened in my life, I wrote a song about it. I never played it for anybody, but I always, wrote songs. And whenever, all them guys were reaching out to me wanting another song, I was sending them stuff. He's like, it's just not right. And so then, I do, and I'm not afraid to say this at all because I think a lot of artists do the same thing. You toy around with trying to make your song sound like somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You try to, you hear Hardy, Hardy was Rednecker Than You came out. It's like, okay, I need to write a song similar to this. And then you start trying to toy with all these things that sound like something that's on the radio, right? Well, guess what? They don't need another one of that person. They need somebody different, right? And so I can never catch on to that, and I let the the competition side of it catch up with me, and now I look back and I'm like, you know what? Music is a passion of mine. It's not a competition because I was competing, with a guy like you or a guy like Dawson, guy like Dalton, who's got a hell of a voice.
Oh my God.
I mean, yeah, hell of a voice.
That dude's just another level.
Yeah. So it wasn't my voice that somebody was going to be after because you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but sometimes, especially in my scenario, I think I let the competition outweigh the passion and I lost it.
Yeah. It happened to me, dude. And I'm sure you ask yourself too. What happened to Joe Webb? Does he not play music anymore? I played a gig at the local in Cartersville. I got done, and I was sitting on the stool, and I looked out, and I was like, it wasn't even fun. Like, I didn't even enjoy it, dude. It was the weirdest feeling because that's all I had done, right? I was in the military, and they came home and played music. It's all I'd done. And I sat there, and I was like, why was that not fun? I couldn't figure it out, but I didn't feel that excitement out of it. And I knew right then, I was like, if you don't feel excited about it, then, And on top of that, when you live in Nashville, I've heard people say it, and it's the truth. That town will chew you up and spit your ass out.
Oh yeah, I've
like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, like the amount of talent, dude. It's stupid. It's absolutely. You'll be walking down Broadway, and you'll hear something from this little hot dog stand over here with this guy set up with a guitar, and he's just out of this world.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and I'm supposed to make this, and this guy's not even in one of the bars playing.
Right.
But I still piddle with it though. I still piddle with it, and I try to ride every now and then the best I can. And but I don't know, man. I just kind of lost that. Love for it, unfortunately.
So I guess it's like my my kryptonite. I can't let it go, even though I know I'm 33, about to be 34 years old. Right, got 3 kids and a beautiful wife, and I would like to think that I've got a successful career. But music is still deep down in my soul. And I'm like, I got to have it. If I don't have it, then, what am I going to do? And so back in 2019, right when TikTok came out.
Yeah. That's what I was about to dig into.
Oh, okay.
Tell me how that TikTok thing went.
Yeah.
Bro.
So 2019, during all the, We Need Your Next Song, tour, That's what I call it. Need your next song tour, because he set me out for 6 months. And where's the other song at, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, I posted a video on there and it went viral. It was just me and doing a cover of Long Haired Country Boy. And so I never got back on it. I thought, this is kind of dumb, whatever. And we ran into, I guess, my daughters do cheerleading.
Yeah.
And so we were at a cheerleading practice or something, and we got together with some of the other parents, and they came over to the house. We were hanging out one night, and a good friend of mine, his wife, she's a good friend of mine too. She like a social media expert. I mean, like, she knows everything about everything with social media. And I was just picking guitar. We were drinking some drinks, hanging out. And she's like, why don't you post on TikTok? And this was in 2022, and I'm like, I tried, I was like, I just kind of stopped doing it. And she's like, no, you need to post on there. And so I started posting on there. And I was like, nothing's, just like what I told you earlier, you got to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept staying consistent. And a long time, or I guess after that point in time, I had moved on from trying to sound like Hardy or sound like Kane Brown or whoever songs that I was trying to write.
Right, yeah.
And so I started writing songs that were about TJ, and how TJ felt about things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in the car business, you're in the car business,
mm-hmm.
and you're at the car lot more than you're at home, right?
You're telling me, my man.
Yeah. So, and we've got a beautiful farm and a nice house, beautiful life.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got to writing one night, and I wrote this song in like 10 minutes. And it said, I pay a mortgage on a house that I don't see, and I feed a dog that barely knows me, And anyways, 4 million streams later, I think a lot of other people feel the same way. But
4 million streams.
Yeah,
Dude.
4 million streams. And at that time, I was working on a project. It was called, it was an album,
Mm-hmm.
It was called The Songs They Never Heard. And every song that I ever sent to those other people, I put all those songs on a record. And I thought, this is my goodbye to music. Never going to record any more songs. These are my songs, And then that song, I posted a clip of it, and it was a contest for Tractor Supply. And so I posted it, and the song went, dude, it just went viral.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That is cool. Was it one of those, you hear the stories of someone posted it and then they wake up and it's just blown slap up? Is it one of those?
Oh, absolutely.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I had a post one time that done that when, what's her name, Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
When she stood up in the, I can't remember the address or whatever it was, but she stood up and she ripped this paper. It was like a Trump thing, and it was the speech or whatever. She ripped it up, and I made this post about that. And I post songs every day.
Sure.
And nothing ever blows up, but I make this political post of her ripping a paper up. I woke up, it was 6,000 shares.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Nuts.
I just posted a little acoustic, snippet of the song, and I think I woke up and had 30,000 likes on it or something on TikTok. And I was like, where were you at 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, God, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you let me write this song 4 years ago?
It happens. And it happens just like that. It does, dude. So how was how's the interaction on TikTok? Do you get I know you're supposed to stay out of the comments.
Oh yeah.
That's what they say. But how does that go? Most people, are they pretty supportive and positive feedback?
Yeah, for the most part, I would think. I haven't dealt with a whole lot of crazies, I don't guess. I guess the hardest part is, and it's kind of quirky to say this, I guess, but when I was writing that song, my wife, I couldn't think of a title for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Blue Collar Ain't Easy. Well, I'm in the car business, and I'm not blue collar.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a farm, have a few cows, and stuff like that. But I have all these guys. It blew up under that, and I mean, I didn't think the song was going anywhere. I was just trying to think of a title to a song, just like you would.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think that's you have to carry on not a persona, but like I don't know if that makes sense. Like another, not to be something you're not.
Well, I think what it is you're a creator first and foremost, and you have to say what someone else doesn't say. You have to speak up for those people that don't have that, right? So you may not work a blue collar job, but there's someone else that does. And that's what I think, that's where that resonates. And I've listened to that song many, many times, dude, and I think everybody could 100% relate. It's a great song.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
It's an absolute good song.
But songs like that, just and I wish all of them did. We'd both be rich, right? If you could just know which song's going to ring the bell, because. And I'm not sitting here saying that like I became rich off the song.
Right.
I have done well with the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's paid for every song I've recorded since I released that song.
That's sick.
And
that's what Luke Combs' goal was with Hurricane.
Oh yeah. Just to make enough to.
He wanted to write Hurricane, and it funded the rest of the album.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And that's what this has done. I mean, I tell you, like, I don't play shows anymore. Not that I won't.
Yeah.
But I mean. And I don't mean to sound this like in an arrogant way or anything like that, but I make more money not playing shows, but doing things the way that I do them. And the way that I do them is I don't even go in the studio and create the song. I literally found another producer, and like the way that we work is I send him just an acoustic clip of this, whatever songs I want to do. I'll send him 3, 4, 5 songs. I'll get my songs lined up for 6 months. And then he goes to Nashville, Saxman Studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they sit down. They do all the music for him. And then I'll go in and cut vocals on the songs in Boaz, Alabama. And then there you go. I got 5 or 6 songs in my, loaded up, ready to go.
Is it not crazy that we can do that now?
Oh, it's insane. I think COVID created a lot of things.
So the Georgia Raised Me song of mine, there is a steel guitar on that song. No, it's either that song or Gas in the Truck. I can't remember. There's a steel guitar on that song, and that was recorded on. It was John Party's steel player. He done it on the bus.
Oh wow!
Is that not crazy?
It is.
I didn't know the guy, but the producer. I used to record up in Chattanooga at a place up there, a guy named Dran. And he told me, he was like, I'm going to get, this guy to record, this part of it. And I didn't know it worked like that. I had no idea. I thought you had to like walk into the studio and sit down and record on the same software.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they'll record and then send it all in, and then the mixer just puts it all together.
It's crazy. It really is. I remember like whenever I worked on the album that I released, it took 6 months, 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was a process. I mean, it was a lot more. That producer actually came to my house because I was off on Tuesdays at the time, and he came in, hooked his computer up to the TV screen, and we recorded everything right there at the house. But it was a long process, and I was like, man, I just can't, like, not that I don't have time for it.
Right.
But I'm a father, a husband, have a full-time job, have a farm. Like, not that I don't have time, but, I'm not Tim McGraw, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time for that. And so this other guy, he's like, just send me a clip of it, man. Let's just see what it sounds like, And I was like, okay. and then he sends me. The first one I did was a Christmas song for my wife. It's called "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and I sent it to him. He sent me the music back, and I was like, "Do what?" It was insane.
How'd you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I just sent him like a little acoustic, you know. In fact, I sent him the post off of Facebook that I posted a year ago.
Really?
And just sent it to him.
So that was just off of a cell phone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like so, yeah, nothing fancy. I'm talking about like literally me and you sitting a cell phone right here, picking a song, sending it to him, and then he comes back, creates all the music for it. Now, if I don't like something, he'll change it.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, just go in the studio and record it.
It's the wildest thing that it's the wildest thing that, and on top of that, going back to talking about blowing up overnight and things like that, me and you right now could write a song sitting right here, use this interface, plug it up, make a recording, get on one of your distribution platforms, upload this song, and it'd be in the top 10 tomorrow.
It could. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's phenomenal, dude. And when I said earlier that, you know, social media really rocked the music business, it really did, because you didn't really need record labels as much.
No.
Record labels have a lot of good push when it comes to, I would say, like the promotion and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the funds behind all of it.
Yeah.
But, dude, there's a lot of artists. I mean, like Oliver Anthony. I think that Oliver Anthony. That's how you say his name. I think he's one of those right now. Your Up Church.
Oh yeah.
Jelly Roll.
Oh yeah.
All those dudes. It's super cool.
It's crazy. You know, speak of Oliver Anthony, you asked if I ever got any negative comments on TikTok.
Oh no.
So whenever I actually, let's see, I did the first TikTok video of Blue Collar Ain't Easy in March of 2023, and I released it in July along with a music video. And so Oliver Anthony, he creeped in August, and guess what I was called? A copycat.
Ooh,
you know,
no way.
But I wasn't. My song was actually released a month before him, but I think that's the only negative comments I ever got.
He had something like that go on not long ago with what's that dude's name? Dang it. I can't think of his name, man. He does he's really authentic country. It'll come to me, but he had made some type of comment about backing tracks or something like that.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the band. I can't think of his name, man.
I don't know. Can't think of it either.
Burn. Oh, is that it?
I know what you're talking about.
Dang it.
But
whatever.
Yeah,
I can't think of it. We'll talk about something else and I'll remember
it. Okay. Yeah.
that's how it'll happen. But I don't know, dude. It's so cool. So do you never even have to go into a studio to cut these vocals?
Now I do have to drive up there to record vocals. So once he sends me everything back, like I haven't been to the studio since probably maybe August, September of last year. And since then, I think I've released 3 songs. I'm about to release an acoustic album, or not, EP, I guess, 5 songs.
Okay.
And that's the other cool thing about it, too, is like once they do all that, if you want to release an acoustic version of it, he just strips it down, uses the same vocals, just roll on, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, once he does all that, I'll go in, I'll do vocals on 3, 4, however many songs there are, you know, and then once I do that, I mean, I'm done till I decide what else I want to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you do a lot of solo writing?
I do, and I write with Dawson Edwards.
Yeah,
we talked about him a little earlier. Me and him wrote a little bit together. I write, a lot by myself, and then there's another guy that I write with. His name's Tim Cooey.
Okay, I don't know him.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. He lives in Cedartown, and we've wrote a song called Whiskey Win together. Tough People Do. And then he's retired. So it's kind of a funny relationship me and him have. He reached out to me a couple years ago and he's like, "Hey, I write songs. Would you like to record one of my songs?"
Yeah.
And how many times you heard that?
Oh, 100 times. Yeah.
100 times, right? It's like, man, we got CDs or what,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, he sends me an email of like 30 songs,
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't actually sit down beside each other and write them because, like I said, my schedule's extremely busy most days, right? I have the kids and all that stuff. But I wrote Whiskey Win with him off of something he sent me. Now, it's not word for word,
Mm-hmm.
But I recorded, I think we've recorded 3, 4, maybe 5 songs together. And then the one I just released a few months ago called Something Money Can't Buy. He's kind of a life coach for me too.
Yeah.
And he never had kids. And I was complaining about work or complaining about something.
Yeah.
About not having time to do this, not having time to do that. And his wife had passed away 5 years ago with cancer. And so me and him were talking in the truck one night, and he's like, son, he said, all that money might seem real nice, but what you got, something money can't buy. I got 3 kids, great job, but sometimes we take that for granted, But just wrote a song about it, right off the rip. So.
That's so cool. So you're sitting around, I think I looked earlier, you're sitting around somewhere in 70,000 followers, it looks like on TikTok, right?
Uh-huh.
About 70-something thousand. How fast is that growing? Is there any trick to it?
Oh, man, if there was, I wish somebody tell me because I don't know. I think I've been sitting around that same number, give or take a couple thousand here or there.
Yeah.
Probably 6 months.
Wow. Was there a certain song that really added all the followers at one time?
Oh yeah, Blue Collar Ain't Easy.
Blue Collar Ain't Easy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I probably gained 10 to 15,000 followers off the other song, Living to Work, Working to Die. So
sweet. Yeah, y'all go check those songs out. Blue Collar Ain't Easy. That's a good one. TJ Cochran.
Thank you, man.
It's on all your iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, all those. Yeah. So when TikTok, let me talk to you about this, man. When TikTok took its little ban for a little bit, that freak you out?
It did.
Yeah.
It really freaked me out because I'm like, man, you've been riding this train for a long time. It's time to get off. And it's kind of, you're like me, I think. I mean, it's a little awkward as a grown man to sit in front of a camera sometimes and play a cover song and post it.
Yeah.
Even though I do. But, like, I hate doing it on Facebook, right? The reason I hate doing it on Facebook is it's like all these people that it's just weird for me. I don't know. TikTok carries your audience out to people that, you don't know and you're fresh to them. And they just, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Is it to you?
It used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Now I think it's, man, I post them every now and then on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long now that I haven't really, dude, with this job that we have.
Oh yeah.
It's the best you can do to get home and eat dinner and go to bed to do it again the next day.
Yeah, 100%.
I struggle with doing this podcast. It's hard sometimes. That's why, matter of fact, us being off today together,
it's ironic,
dude. It made it super easy because usually what I'm having to do to record podcast during the wintertime, we close at 7, and I'll rush home, get here by 7:30, and have to jump on here and get a podcast done. And it takes, I mean, you know what it is. I mean, it takes a lot of time away. So I haven't got a chance to really, even if I wanted to go play shows.
Yeah, when would you do it?
I mean, I would have to get off at 6 on a Saturday and try to get to a bar to play it. I mean, it would be tough.
It is, and like I said, that's for me now. I mean, like I said, I've been blessed over the past couple of years, you know, with releasing music that I
Yeah.
haven't really focused on, you know, playing music anywhere.
Yeah. So, how did you get in the car business? How did all that happen?
Oh,
Speaking of it.
yeah. So the car business, how'd I get in it, or why can't I get out?
It's we talk about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Once you get that taste of it, it's
hard to get out of.
it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah. So I ran a finance company.
Mm-hmm.
We loaned like payday loans, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was a general manager at a loan company in Rome. And so I used to have to go to people's jobs, and it always freaks people out when I say this, but it's true. I used to have to go to people's jobs and collect money. You know, if they didn't make their payment, I'd just have to go to their job. I'd go to their house. I'd call their sister, whoever they left down as a reference. And anyways, I don't miss that job by no means. But it was a good job. I made good money. And we were having our second child, and we were in the hospital. And my district manager called me. He knew that my wife was still in the bed. Baby was still freshly born. And he said, "Hey, man, I don't mean to stress you out." And he said, "I know you just had a baby." He said, "But they're closing our doors down." And he said, "I just wanted to give you a heads up. You know," he said, "if there's something that you want to maybe get a resume ready, that way you can, you know, not be caught off guard or whatever." And I was like, "Well, that's fantastic, you know." Okay.
Great. Back to square one.
Yeah, back to square one.
Here
right?
we go.
So I'm like, look over at my wife. She's like, "What's wrong?" You know, look on my face, you know. And I told her, and she's like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "Well," I said, "I guess I could go sell cars for a little bit until I figure out what I'm going to do."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "That's 100% commission," you know? And I'm like, "I know, but like, I don't know what else to do, you know?"
Right.
And so I went to the library in Rome, and kind of sounds old when you say that. I went to the library. But anyways, I went to the library, got on their computer, made me a resume, and printed up a bunch of them off.
Yeah.
And I went to every car dealership in Rome. And this is where the good part is.
Okay.
Everybody I walked in, they said, "Okay, thank you for coming in." I was wearing a tie, you know.
Yeah.
I was serious. Like, dude, I got 2 kids, you know.
I gotta have a job.
Yeah, I was dead serious. And so I go to the Dodge dealership in Rome. And there's a guy sitting at the end of the desk or whatever up on the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Told him the same story I told everybody else, you know. Poor pitiful me. I need a job. I
Uh-huh.
sell cars. And dude, he reached down. He asked me when I could start, and grabbed a drug screen and handed it to me.
Oh my gosh.
Said, "Show up on I think it was the week, that same week, I believe." Said, "Show up Friday."
And you had never sold cars before this?
Never in my life.
Oh my gosh.
No. And so, not an interview or anything. That's exactly how it went.
Uh-huh.
So I showed up Friday, just like the guy told me, right? And I show up Friday, that guy's not there. I was looking for him, you know. They're like, "Hey, can we help you?" You know. I was like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be starting today, you know." So we need to get with John, you know. So okay. So I go over there to John, tell him who I am. He's like, "Who interviewed you?" You know. And I was like, "Nobody." I was like, "This guy gave me a drug screen." He's like, "Well, Paul quit."
Oh gosh.
And I was like, "Do what?" And so, anyways, I got in the car business without a job interview.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, dude. But
So I can almost relate a little bit. So I drove a truck for a long time, and finally had to stop doing it because of medical issues. And I was sitting at home one night, and same thing, dude, trying to figure it out. What am I gonna do? Do not want to go dig a hole. That sounds crappy. Don't want to do that. Done it before, done it many, many times. I said, you know what? Because I was scrolling. I said, you know what? Those dudes at car dealerships sitting on them golf carts and polos, that looks pretty fun. So I kid you not. Hardy Chevrolet pops up. Boom. Indeed. know nothing about it, like zero.
Right.
I knew I could talk to people, but I didn't know how to sell a car. You know,
Right.
I don't even know if I still know how to sell a car.
Yeah.
But I clicked it. I posted my application, and got a call. I go in, sit down with this lady, and she and let's shout out to Lachelle because she changed my life. But she interviewed me, and it was for a car sales position, and she told me 100% commission, and I said, "You said 100%?"
100%, baby.
So if I don't sell a car that week, I don't get a paycheck. She said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh God." That's scary, not knowing if you can sell one to start with and then be told you may not even make a paycheck. So anyway, I told her, I said, "Is there anything else maybe right now that I might could do?" And she said, "The only thing I've got is a BDC position." And I said, "What's that mean?" So she told me, it was, you're on the phone, you call people, there's leads that come in, you call, you try to get them into the dealership, then you transfer it over to a salesperson, whatever. I said, "Okay, that sounds good. I'll take it." I think it had a small salary, $12 an hour probably, and then get commission on top of that. I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." So I go in and I start it, and it was okay. And I was sitting at my desk one day, and I got a call from a guy we both know, Don Baines.
Mm-hmm.
My desk rung. Picked the phone up, and when I seen the name, I said, "Oh crap, I know what this is. Dang it, they're about to get me." So Don says, "Hey man, come up here to Chevrolet, come see me," because you were in another building down by Fleet. And I said, "Okay." So I come up there, and Don said, "I was looking at your social media, and you got a lot of followers on there." And he said, "We know a lot of the same people. You ever thought about selling cars?" And I said, "Well, thought about it until I heard it was 100% commission." He said, "I tell you what, if I can get you to sell cars for me, I'll give you a 90-day guarantee." He said, "And if you make anything over that, then that'll be what you make. But if not, you've got the guarantee for 90 days." I said, "Okay." So I came home, talked to Megan, and I said, "Worst case scenario, I take the guarantees, and then I don't do good, and then I'll just know at the end of that, like, yeah, go find something else,
Yeah.
So over 2 years later, I'm still doing it. So it worked out. It definitely worked out, and we were talking about it upstairs, man. That dealership, there's not another like it that I've ever been a part of, obviously, because that's the only it's the only dealership I've ever worked at. But it was the same thing. It's crazy.
It is.
Just absolutely crazy. Are you like a desk manager right now? Is that what you're doing?
So there's two. Our new and used is separate, which I think y'all's is too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I'm over the used area. So
Sweet.
desk deals, and I guess I'm the fireman.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But what's your favorite thing what's your favorite type of customers? Or, well, no, that's not a good question. What is the funniest thing people say to you, and you're like, "Oh God"?
Ooh.
I can tell you what mine is real quick.
Yeah, tell me.
I used to sell cars.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me tell you one. I got one. I'm so glad you said that. I got one. I've got one. So I go outside and I show this lady a car, and you go through the whole thing, and I said, "If we want to get these numbers right for you, is this something you'd look forward to purchasing?" She says, "You would purchase with us." She said, "I have to see what the numbers look like. Let me do my job. Let's go inside." So we go inside and go get a pencil. And for people listening, that's the first set of numbers that a salesman comes out there and shows you. So we sit down, and there was no negotiation at all yet. Like, she literally just read the numbers, and she looks at me. She said, "I've been watching TikTok. I know how y'all do." she said, "This right here ain't gonna work for me. I know what y'all are doing. I've watched TikTok. Y'all got y'all's videos all over TikTok. I know." I said, and I kind of snickered. I really did.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. It
Sure.
was so funny to me, and I don't remember if she bought it or not. It was the funniest thing, but let me tell you what I got the other day. So, dude, I'm covered up in tattoos, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at my desk. I had a polo or whatever on, and I'm sitting there and I'm selling this guy, and he's buying the truck, but his son's there and his daughter's there too. Well, real old man, old business owner from a small town. He's just, "Oh, you got one of them F-250s," or you know what? You know how they are.
Oh yeah.
So he sits back in that chair, throws his arms back. He looked at me. He said, "You ain't bad for a colored up white boy."
Colored up white boy.
Colored up white boy. So that's been my best one yet.
That's good stuff.
That's called a colored up white boy.
Yeah.
I said, "Touche. Do you like these numbers? Does everything look good?
Yeah.
You ready to wrap it up? Get in a wash bay for you. Let's go." So it's a fun job sometimes, man.
It is, man. I'll tell you. Did you do you still remember your first car you ever sold?
Yes, dude.
Was it crazy?
Oh no, it was not crazy, but it was like God was like, "Here,
Really?
I'm going to get your feet wet. I'm going to show you that it can work." So it was a lady, and I'm not going to go off too deep into this crap, but it was a lady. I sold my house a long time ago, lived in a camper, lived in a campground in Adairsville, and it was a lady that worked there, right? She ran the office. And I started at Hardy, and I think I posted something on Facebook, and she got my mom to tell me that she was interested in finding a truck. I said, okay. So she comes up there, and I sold her a truck, and that was my first sale. But the good part about it was that I didn't have that pressure because I knew who it was.
Oh yeah. That's good.
I knew her, and I didn't have to worry about messing up because I looked at her straight in the eye and said,
Yeah.
"I don't know what I'm doing yet, so you're just going to have to be patient with me." So I was running back and forth to the desk. "Hey,
Yeah.
what does this paper mean right here?
Right. Yeah.
Hey, what's the lemon law? How do I say what that is?"
Yeah. That's funny, man. You said God was right there with me. I feel like God was like eating popcorn when I sold my first one.
Ooh. Probably my second or third after that. I was like, "What am I doing?"
Dude, I had this guy, nicest guy in the world. And he wanted to, and the reason I didn't sell anyone I knew is because I started out selling Dodge, and nobody that I knew or in my family
would
buy
drive a Dodge.
No,
Yeah.
Chevy only, right? So I was on the up bus.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone don't know what the up bus is, it's basically when you wait outside and waiting for a customer. So
Propped up against a pole, on the asphalt, just waiting.
Just waiting. Yeah.
Like a buzzard.
That's right.
Waiting on somebody to roll up.
Yep. And but this guy, dude, he was the nicest guy in the world. I told him I was new, and we went on the test drive, did all the things, and then we got back to the desk, and I seen a demon come out of this guy, man. That he went from like being this sweet guy to just being the devil all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I was like, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
This guy's crazy, And so my first deal, I ended up having to split because another sales guy had to basically, take over and negotiate with the guy. It was insane.
Yeah.
Almost got out.
Really?
I mean, it was that, like, I'm like, do people really do this? Like, people really go from being really nice to just thinking that I'm some sort of, I don't know.
The car business gets a really bad rep,
Mm-hmm.
and I think maybe in like our grandparents' time, it was a lot different. In today's time with the internet, all the prices are out there, man.
Yeah.
When you sit down, it's simple math.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers on the paper, it's all simple math.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing, I mean, so all the prices are on the internet, so you know which dealership has the best price.
Yeah.
Dude, you can buy a car over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't like that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you can buy a car over the phone.
yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah.
I can literally sell you a car and deliver it to your house, and you never had to step foot in a dealership.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's a good thing and a bad thing. But
It is.
between me and you.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fun business. It's a great business. And I think there's more good people than there are bad.
Oh, absolutely.
As far as customers.
Yeah. There's a lot of crazy things that go on at car dealerships that most, like, if you could make a Netflix show sometimes, I mean, really. I remember back in Rome one time we had a guy in a police chase driving a Corvette, and he came through our lot, and there was like 5 cops behind him,
Oh,
like, you
my
always
God.
see some crazy stuff, man.
There was a video floating around the internet. I don't know if it was like a Dodge store, but it was like every salesman in the dealership was in there scrapping in the showroom floor.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember where that was at.
Dude, there's a lot of craziness that goes on, though, some of the things we see. I'm sure you could agree with that.
Yeah. There I could just sit here and we could go on for 2 hours on some of that stuff. But
yeah.
Anyway, more good people than bad. And anytime you start dealing with money, though, it'll change a person just like that.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you start dealing with money, rightfully so. Let me tell you a funny one. Man, this one's embarrassing. So, before I started at Hardy, I bought a Dodge Challenger from typical veteran shit, had to have me a Dodge.
Yeah.
So,
everybody goes through that phase.
yeah, it happens. Bought one from Schottenkirk, right?
Oh, boy.
Schottenkirk Dodge. Well, and this is not, I can't say it's their fault. I signed the papers.
Yeah.
But anyway, I bought this car. I'm going to trade it in at Hardy once I work there,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Sales manager's like, hey, man, you need to call their finance department. You need to cancel your warranty. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, there was a whole nother thing about that to start with, bro. They didn't even want to give me my money back. Like, honestly, it was a 12-round fight over that. It was bad. To the point where the dude was fired.
Mm.
He was doing some shady stuff somehow. I don't know what was going on with that. But anyway, that guy got fired.
Oh, wow.
Because finally I got to the point where I was like, I need to speak to a GM.
Yeah.
So the GM goes, yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. He doesn't work here anymore. So he transfers me back to this lady. And she says, okay, Mr. Webb, I got it ready right here. You're gonna be getting back $6,000. Blah blah blah.
Oh, wow. And you bought a Challenger, right?
Dude.
Not a Ferrari.
Dude, they sold me like it had to be a $7,000 warranty.
Whew.
I said, and me, first thing I hear, I'm like, ooh, $6,000.
Yeah.
My buddy beside me goes, what did they just say? He goes, you know what that means, right? He said, that means you bought a $7,000 warranty. I said,
So you got.
Got me, dude. I mean, got me. So, super crazy.
Before I sold cars, I used to
crazy.
always walk in and I'd tell someone, till you've been in the business, sometimes there's things the wording and stuff you just don't get, It's like, I don't want to be upside down.
Yeah.
I always said that. I don't want to be upside down.
Mm-hmm.
You buy a brand new car, unless you, put money down, most times you are.
You're going to be upside down.
Yeah, because, that was one thing I always said, though. Anytime I'd go buy a car from somebody, it's like, I don't want to be upside down. And
That's our biggest fight every day.
It is.
It's the biggest fight.
It is.
Besides financing with GM Financial.
Yes.
That's the biggest fight.
Yes.
Especially when they bought it during COVID.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
It is.
fun. Well, it's a good time. It's a great time, and Fun.
I tell people all the time,
Oh,
man,
man.
it's like it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Car sales is no different than any other industry in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Other than, like you said, our granddads or our grandparents, the way that they, bought cars, it doesn't work the same way anymore.
Mm-mm.
You know,
No, it doesn't.
so
It doesn't. It's and I don't know about and like I said earlier, I don't know about other dealerships, but I feel like that we're very, very transparent.
yeah,
Everything but that's like I was saying, everything kind of has to be now.
it does. Yeah, except for something like you said, some of your corporate dealers.
Yeah.
They draw outside the lines sometimes more than others.
Yeah, and there's one that I'm not gonna definitely not throwing under the bus here.
Sure.
Or maybe I should because maybe people would come to me. But
Yeah.
they'll put some window tint on your car, and that turns into like $1,200 window tint.
Oh yeah, I've never got $1,200 window tint before.
Little things like that. I don't know what I can't remember the name.
That's
of those
equivalent to your wife.
or the paint protection package. There we go. That's it.
Yeah, that's equivalent to your wife going to a tire store because her tire's low, and them charging her for premium air. That's equivalent to that $1,200 window tint.
That's it. That's it.
So yeah,
that is it. So, what do you think? You got blue collar ain't easy,
mm-hmm.
and I know you posted a song on TikTok the other day. It was like, I wonder what Joe Biden would think about this.
Oh yeah,
What song is that?
Living to work, working to die.
All right. So, if you don't care, it's a sensitive subject now, but Joe really doesn't care. I'll just tell you how I feel.
Yeah. No,
How was
I guarantee he's not going to listen to this.
Yeah. How are you feeling right now? Now that we got a new administration.
I think that I don't feel like our country's going to go down the drain.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got some structure, or we're going to have some structure. We don't have structure yet. We're going to have structure.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit.
Donald Trump is not God.
Mm.
And you can't. I think of our economy like I do someone's credit.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this, and you see credit every day in the car business. Let's say that, and I don't know if you've been in this spot before, but I have. My credit dropped all the way to like a 440 one time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before I met my wife. So, it took years for me to build my credit score back up. It's so much easier for you to ruin your credit than it is to build your credit. So if you think of the economy in that aspect, it's a lot easier to ruin it than it is to get it back where it needs to be at. So I have strong hopes, but I don't know. I think a lot of good things could be put in place. I still think there's a lot of work to do, though.
So I'm just going to be the one that says it.
Yeah.
So how old are you?
33.
Okay, I'm 31. So we came up in the 9/11 era, right? That's when we were kids. And I still think in that time frame, that's where my patriotism still comes from.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm obviously a veteran, so I mean, I have patriotism from that, but
sure.
I still grew up in that time frame, and I seen how everybody came together and backed up America on 9/11. And it absolutely pisses me off, man, to no end that some of the stuff that say Donald Trump says, it's common sense.
It is.
Some of it's just mostly all of it is common sense.
It is.
And why in the world does that even have to be discussed? Dude, and one of the biggest ones, and I know everybody's tired of hearing it. I mean, we watched campaign ads for a long time, but it's so true. You'll put a fence on the front of your house, right? It's got the little points on it.
Yep.
Or you got a gate.
Yeah.
Right, with a code.
Yep.
You have that. You don't want people coming in.
That's right.
Uninvited people coming in.
Because it's your place.
It makes zero sense to me how they can even argue not having people in this country that haven't been properly vetted.
Oh, yeah.
How do you even argue that?
Well, let me ask you a question. If you were to go to Mexico or Canada or China or any other country in the world, can you just go?
No.
What do you got to do?
Have a passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and I got to go through, what's the term I'm looking for? The point of entry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You can't just go and come and go as you please.
No, I can't.
You know?
And the fact that we argue that, dude, is just mind-boggling. And then some of the other stuff. And there was a lot, dude. That Pete Hegseth, man, that dude took a beating. Oh, my God. And I'm not saying he's not. He hasn't made mistakes in his life, obviously.
Yeah, we all have.
We've all made mistakes. So if there's one person out there that says they haven't, you're a damn liar.
That's right.
You know? But he took a beating, trying to come into the position he's in. And it was another one of those things. It's common sense.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff. And I'm relating to that from the military because the dude was trying to tell y'all there has to be standards.
Yeah.
The military is there for a reason. It is to protect the ones that aren't in the military and theirself.
Yep.
Right? What is wrong with saying that?
Because you might hurt somebody's feelings.
Dude, it just, it's mind-boggling, brother.
Yeah.
Dude, it breaks my heart,
The sensitivity in our country is, it's insane. And I get it, and to a certain degree, I get it. Do I believe that some of the stuff they did back in the day, they might have took too far? Absolutely.
All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. No, I don't think nobody would disagree with that.
No. But some of these standards that, when we were growing up that were a thing, now all of a sudden, I'll just come out and say it, as far as coming to work, just going to work, you get to work on time, you work your shift, you clock out or leave or whatever, right? What makes someone think that they shouldn't have to do that?
Yeah.
Do you love selling cars so much that you just die to go in there every day?
No,
you go there because you have to.
I have to survive. My family has to survive. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole working and
don't even get me started on the fact that we even have confrontations over two genders.
Oh yeah.
Bro. Where does this shit? We literally for this past 4 years, man, we lived in a fantasy.
We did, yeah.
We lived in a fantasy, brother.
Yep.
And on top of that, I watched. God, it still pisses me off this day, man. The Afghanistan withdrawal.
Oh yeah.
It just breaks my heart, man, that the people that I served with that gave everything, gave up their family, gave up their time, gave up their sanity, their mental health, that served in Afghanistan, along with the thousands others that served, and to watch it go down like it went down, is just that it was like you fight this 20-year war. And all this stuff has happened, all the deaths, all the, actually just all the bad things.
Yeah, one death is too many. Not count is way more than that.
And then you just go, all right, guys, load it up. We're done.
Leave it all there.
Yeah, just don't worry about that truck.
Yeah.
No, don't even burn it. Just leave it there. Yeah. Let them mop it up.
No, we're not taking that helicopter. Yeah. We're going to leave it.
We're going to fight it 10 years later if that's okay. We're going to let them use it against us.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not in debt. It's cool.
we're living in a fantasy, brother.
We are.
Like, what is this? You know, it's the craziest thing.
I always say that, you know, Joe Biden, every so often when he would come out from the basement, you know, and he'd say, "Yeah, let's do it," you know, because it's. I mean, how much have you heard from Trump as president this term?
Oh, dude.
Number 47 versus how many times you heard from Joe Biden his entire administration?
Honestly, I don't think that I really could even pinpoint my brain on one impactful thing where I was like, ooh, let me tune in real quick.
Yeah.
Let me hear this.
He couldn't get his words straight, you know?
And I'm sorry. Like, that sucks. I hate it for the guy. I mean, it's age. It happens.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I was rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, as an American, you need to root. Whether I like it or not, you got to root for it. And that goes for the other side, too.
It does.
You may not like Donald Trump's temperament, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's your president.
He is.
When all that, when he was elected in, all it was America went, we're tired of this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we have lived in this crazy fantasy for the past 4 years. I'm not allowed to say anything. I'm not allowed to feel how I want to feel. All I can do is bow to what y'all want, and if I don't want that, then I'm the bad one.
Yeah.
You know, America was tired of it.
It's like my kids love Starbucks, you know. The girls always want a pink drink and a, you know, what do you call it, cake pop, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Why should you have to, like, I shouldn't have to guess whether to call you sir or ma'am. Or worry about it because I might offend you.
Where does this even?
Yeah.
Where does this even stem from? That's the part that drives me
it's
crazy.
It's insanity, dude.
It's insanity.
Mm.
It's literally, and I'm not apologizing to anybody over even saying this. I don't care. It's literally sickening.
Yeah.
It's sickening.
Mm-hmm.
That. And then and talking about Pete Hegseth, man, it was being brought into our military. What?
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to get into politics in this, but
I'm all about it. Whatever.
Let's roll then.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I mean, just a side note on Donald Trump, you know. I voted for Donald Trump the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for him the second time. If there's one thing I could tell, if I could talk to him, you know, I would love to just say one thing to him, you know. I'd be like, hey, just don't talk as much. Just don't say that.
Just shut up.
Yeah. That's why they don't like you.
I had my buddy Laney House on here one day, and I said, you know, just like you just said it.
Yeah.
So if there was one thing, it'd just be like, hey, man, everything that you do is really good.
Yeah.
Just don't say Rosie O'Donnell's fat next time.
Yeah.
Just don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't just
leave it out.
Just talk to the press for a second and then just walk away.
Yeah.
You know, just
Crazy,
there's something. But at the same time, and I never thought about this till somebody told me, he didn't get a chance to speak. The news wouldn't tell you what he had to say. So when he got a chance to say something, he had to say what he needed to say. I mean, you can only be blocked from so many things, you know, and then and that was the scary part. That was the scary part of the whole thing. Being silenced.
Oh yeah.
That's terrifying.
And here's the funny thing too is which I think I mentioned this to you through a text message. And not to swap subjects from politics to music.
Yeah.
But that post that we started this conversation on, or whatever, that song, Living to Work, Working to Die, I posted a clip of it, you know. And that's the reason that I wrote the song was, you know, politics.
Yeah.
You know, it's like living to work, working to die, working to live, pushing overtime, inflation is up, rent's going crazy. A working man can't afford a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, you can hardly afford to live as it is.
Yeah.
You know, but getting back to what I was saying, though, I had a record label reach out to me. a legitimate record label, big time record label. Probably something that I've hoped and dreamed for my whole life.
Most do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think it was real. You know, there was only like 3 people that knew about it, and that was Dawson Edwards, and then my wife, and then Dawson. You know, I can't say how thankful I am for him, just for being a true friend in that moment, because
mentor and just,
because let me tell you, in the music business, you know, the competition part we talked about earlier is huge. There's a lot of jealousy, envy that goes around, right? And so, but I didn't know if it was real. I was like, this guy reached out to me. He sent me an email. I've got my link tree set up right there on TikTok. You can reach me, my website, all that good stuff. And I said, man, I don't know if this is real. I said, but this guy sounds legit. Like, I've looked it up. Like, this guy is an A&R guy or whatever. And he's like, let me get with my person in Nashville and let me verify it. And I was like, okay. Anyways, got back with me. He's like, dude, that is 1,000% legit. You need to respond to him. You need to text him. You need to do something ASAP.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So my heart's thumping. You know what I mean? I was going crazy. Well, they were an affiliate of the major label, Sony Music.
Yeah.
And so the guy reached out to me, and we talked for, 2-3 weeks. And he was like, you know, this song's blowing up. And he's like, what are your plans with it? You know? And I was like, well, to release it, I don't know. I hadn't had a release date. I was just, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so is this song driven towards politics? And I said, well, yeah, it is.
Read the lyrics.
Yeah, read the lyrics. Yeah, listen to the song. Listen to, the captions that I put on TikTok in my post.
Okay.
100,000% legit on being political. And anyways, immediately, and maybe I'm dumb for this, Joe, and you can slap me about it later, but I talked to the guy for a couple weeks, and I'm an independent artist.
Yeah.
And I'm not a millionaire by no means.
Yeah.
But I've made some pretty good, decent money with music.
Yeah.
Number one is because I own 100% of my music.
Yeah.
No one else owns any portion of it. Everything's mine.
Yeah.
We started talking, and dude, it was like a black hole. You know what I mean? It was like all these things. He's like, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way. And not that I don't mind someone giving me input.
Yeah.
But like you said, when we get back to politics now, freedom of speech, all these things. Like, why does that hinder?
Yeah.
I mean, that is my.
It happened to Jason Aldean.
Yeah, that is my crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These people, like, obviously people like the song for what it is. The post wouldn't have blown up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you came to me because of this post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It was just a.
No, I'm with you. No, and you know what you did? You stood up for what you thought was right.
Yeah.
You're not going to change yourself. What am I going to change myself for? A little bit of airtime?
Yeah. I mean, it really, honestly, it wasn't a record deal, and I'm no professional explaining this. It was a distribution deal.
Okay, yeah.
So they were just going to distribute the music. It wasn't like one of these things where they send you out on tour or anything like that.
Yeah.
But hell, it was a lot more than I thought I'd ever get, right?
Yeah.
So
no, exactly.
But I was just like, and maybe I made a dumb decision. I probably did. I probably could have, they probably would have promoted the song better than I did because it just kind of died off after that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It happened to Jason Aldean, man, and I became I've always been a Aldean fan, but I became a bigger fan when he stood up for what he thought was right.
Oh, absolutely.
And didn't change once they canceled him. That's super cool.
Yeah,
it's super cool that he had the backbone to be like. I mean, the dude's made enough money now at this point where
right.
probably did.
Jason Aldean probably tell me I'm stupid. I'm just like
it's just wild, and that goes back to that common sense part. You just can't. I can't fathom the fact that we even have to be put in this scenario of, is it the right thing to say or is it the wrong thing to say?
Right.
Am I gonna hurt their feelings?
Yeah. I just want to be myself.
I just want to be patriotic. Is
Yeah.
that gonna hurt their feelings? You know, I don't know.
My whole thing is like, I just want to be myself. I want to be authentic.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
And what I get to do now is live my dream in a different way, but I'm still living my dream.
that's cool.
You know.
How many streams you at? All
Total?
over, yeah, all songs.
I might be wrong. Probably around 6 million.
6 million. That's good. That's really good. That is, you get the little mailbox money.
A little mailbox money.
Little
And like I
mailbox.
said, I mean, it's not, you know.
Hey, you literally wrote a song and made some money off of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not many people get to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Not many people get to do that.
Yep.
Be proud of it.
It pays for the hobby.
No, it does.
So
It does. It does. That's anybody that moves to Nashville, that's their number one goal.
oh yeah.
And you didn't even have to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to meet those people.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's even crazier is the fact that, like, you know, and me and Dawson, we had a long conversation kind of about that scenario with living in Nashville
Yeah.
versus not living in Nashville. He still goes to Nashville, you know, for songwriting and stuff like that.
Right.
But look at Bailey Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude, I mean, straight out of TikTok, blew up.
Yeah.
You know.
Nashville's got its purpose. I'm a firm believer that you got to be there. Like, you do have to be there. Like, if you're really wanting to chase it and do it hardcore full time, which is hard for somebody to do unless they're single, with no kids. It's tough. Not saying you can't do it, but it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely got to be there to play. Just the things that I seen, dude, you could go out down to Losers one night to have a drink, and next thing you know, you're writing with this guy, you know, that wrote, you know, this song over here. I was at Losers one night. That's like for people that don't know, Losers is like a bar that's like a little bit outside of downtown. Most people that live don't ever go to like the bars that are on Broadway that tourists know.
It's the roads behind Broadway.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at Losers one night, and we're talking to this guy, and he said, "Yeah, I'm a songwriter." And looking at the guy, I never would have even assumed he wrote country music. And we were talking, and you hear 100,000 people say, "I'm a songwriter." Everybody says it. But I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a songwriter too. Yeah, whatever." And he says, "Yeah, I wrote this song one time, and it changed my life for sure." He said, "I was outside," and I hope I don't mess the story up if he ever sees this. But he said, "I was outside cutting my grass." He said, "And in that town will beat you down. Like, you'll just be like, what am I still doing here? Should I go back home and just become a normal person again?
Yeah.
Or should I just keep chasing this?" And he said, "I was just mowing my grass thinking, like, God, can this get any worse?" And like some other things that happened, you know. And he keeps mowing, keeps thinking about it. And he's just like, man, what else bad can happen to me? He said everything in life just hitting him.
Yeah.
And he said, I hit a rock, hit my house, and come back, hit me square in the eye. And he said, I just sat down and I said, and it was something like this. He said, every storm's going to run out of rain.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing you know, it's a Gary Allen hit.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, it's a beautiful thing. It is an absolute beautiful thing that the mind can take a song and then possibly could be that song that saves somebody's life one day.
Oh, yeah.
There's numerous songs, dude, where people have been like, I was about to end it.
Oh, yeah.
And the song came on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And AI has taken over a lot.
Well, that Randy Travis song.
That's crazy. Now, look, all due respect to Randy Travis,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like, in the songwriting world,
Yeah.
it just irritates me. It's like it's taken away the art and the authenticness of the songwriting.
Yeah. 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 It's crazy. It's definitely wild. Now, in Randy Travis's, like you said, and he's definitely an exception.
Yeah.
To be able for a fan to be able to hear him sing like that again is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wish they start doing like bring some Hank Williams back in it.
Yeah.
A little Merle, some
Stuff
things
like
like
that.
that. It'd be cool to hear it
Yeah.
all.
But now you got all these guys that moved away from home, moved to Nashville, chasing that dream, and then you got AI.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that's going to end up and be in 5 years? Or, I mean, look where it's came in a year or 2 years.
Well, we're in a race, is what they say. We're in a race with China for AI, and it's going to change the world. Some of it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
from
cool.
a healthcare, perspective, I feel like it could be a benefit.
Yeah.
You get the mind of a brain surgeon here and a brain surgeon in Germany, and you put their minds together, and you might could figure out how to cure cancer or whatever.
I think we've already know how to cure cancer.
Yeah.
Me and you just won't know it.
Yeah. It's locked in a box.
You lose too much money.
Yeah.
Hospitals won't make any money.
That's right. Yeah. As sad as that sounds.
And going back to what we were talking about earlier, dude, talking about living in a fantasy. I've never been a conspiracy theorist, and I've always tried to like see things from and be like, no, that's not gonna happen. Somebody just making that stuff up, dude. After seeing this past year of your judicial system going after an ex-president, and then the president that leaves office pardons himself and his family.
Isn't that crazy?
From what?
It's like, hey, I'm going to go rob a bank.
I thought Donald Trump was bad. I thought he was the bad guy.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. What are you doing?
Why are you pardoning yourself? You said...
It's like, Joe, do you plan on robbing a bank? I'm going to go ahead and pardon you of that real quick.
Yeah.
You can go do that.
Is that not crazy, dude?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, it's criminal.
It's criminal.
Yeah. And
it's non-American.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about hurting people's feelings, but we can do stuff like that is just...
Yeah. It's nuts.
Anyway, dude.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on here.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Dude, it means a lot, man. Is there anything we didn't get to?
I don't think so.
I don't think so neither.
Well, actually, I do got a quick question.
Ask me.
Didn't you have a song blow up that you wrote?
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Hunter?
Yeah.
Or something. What was it? How'd that scenario work out?
Yeah. So I lived in Nashville with Hunter, and it was my best friend, one of my best friends named Hunter Price. And I was crashing on his house, I was crashing at his house for a while. And I was sitting on the porch one night. We did the same thing. You would write during the day, go out and socialize at night, to go meet people and things like that. Might meet somebody you want to write with, whatever. Sitting on the porch, man. It's probably 5 o'clock. Got a guitar in my hand. I'm just messing around with it. And I come up with this, to me, it's just a stupid line. But obviously other people didn't think it was stupid. And I come up with this line. I said, I was like, come on, take a ride with me. We'll put some gasoline in this truck.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter goes, what was that? And I played it again. He's like, dang, I kind of like that melody. That's kind of cool. So we just messed with it, and messed with it. And then he ends up finishing it with with Veronica Burns, and Hunter's like, hey, I'm going to go on America's Got Talent. And we're like, okay, sweet, man. Go get it, dog. Sounds dope. So he goes on America's Got Talent, and he gets up there and and the video's on. You can watch this on YouTube.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Have you?
Yeah.
He gets up there and basically Simon shuts him down, and he's like, do you write your own songs by chance? And he's like, yeah, I write. So he's like, okay, play something you write. So he plays our song that we wrote on America's Got Talent. And it just blew up. But all that stuff is pre-recorded right before it airs on TV, so we knew that it was going to come out. So went in the studio, cut it. Hunter went in and cut it. We released it the day of. That way when it aired on TV, we got on social media and was like, hey, song's available. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's where I seen it, I think, social media.
So we hit top 40 on the iTunes charts. And, it's still, to this day, just still doing good. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it won't stop. It's insane.
You still get snail mail for it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not very much. But yeah, she's still coming in.
How many streams?
It's in the millions. I'd have to, I want to say last time I checked, it was like 8 million maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't remember. I'd have to.
I had it on my playlist for a long time.
Great song, dude.
Great song.
And the production was just crazy.
And he is mad talented.
And it pisses me off.
Why?
Shit pisses me off so bad. Hunter, I love you, dog. But I'm about to talk shit about you. Dude, he's so talented. And he got to strike it while the iron's hot. That happened. He went on tour with, I think he went and opened up a bunch of shows for Russell Dickerson, I want to say. I think that's who it was. And it just fizzled out. You just didn't just throw out another one, just keep didn't keep feeding it down people's throat. He does, dude. Hunter's so talented. Hunter's just a free soul, man. He just he does what Hunter wants to do.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate him for that.
Yeah.
I definitely don't hate him for it. But I would have loved to have seen what would have happened.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. There's a lot of people that's like we said in Nashville or whatever, so talented. Like I've never auto-tune is like my best friend, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if somebody tells you they don't use that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Listen to Billy Ray Cyrus.
And I think people take auto-tune sometimes and they kind of like overanalyze it.
Oh yeah.
It's a pitch correction. So like if you have this like you're not absolutely perfect all the time. You're not Chris Stapleton all the time. So you might like hit this little note that's a little off and it'll just like
correct
it. It's not like it's singing for you.
There's very few Carrie Underwood's, Chris Stapleton.
You can't sound like Fido's ass and then it make you sound like George Jones. Like it doesn't work like that.
Right.
But dude, thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Seriously.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And we're gonna sit down and chat some more one day.
Okay.
And I can't wait to see how far everything keeps going.
Yeah. I can't see how far this podcast goes.
I'm trying, man. We're trying. And I appreciate you being a part of it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude.